This is the story on how I got into my first ever fight in elementary school. Just take a look at me. Does it look like I would fight someone? No, and especially not as an elementary schooler. But what this boy did to me, it made me so mad, bro. I had to just... For me to tell this story, you need to understand the context. Back in like 2018 or 2019, when I was in 5th grade, there's this super popular game called Granny. If you know, you know. I did not fool with that game whatsoever. My cousins would play it all the time, and I was just like, no, I'm not playing that. I wouldn't even be in the same room as them when they were playing it. I was so scared. Like, I wouldn't even go in the Play Store because I was scared that I was going to see the game. I had my brother download all the stuff I wanted to download for about a year and a half. It was so bad. So one day, I'm in class, right? And people in my class were talking about the game because it was so popular. And then I was like, guys, can we not talk about this? Like, I'm so scared of that game. Like, I hate it so much. And this boy, we'll call him Jacob, was like, oh really? He was such a bully that every time we had that class, he would just like flash a picture of Granny on his iPad to me. Or like when he knew I was sitting behind him, he would just like search up the gameplay of the game and watch it. So this went on for about a week, and after a week I was like, all right, I'm getting tired of this. So I went to the counselor. Now the counselor was a little racist, but that's a story for the next braid takedown because, ooh, it's a long one. Basically, she told me that he probably likes me and I should just ignore him. Thinking back on that, that was probably the worst advice because someone who likes you wouldn't terrorize you with your worst fears. So basically, I tried my best to ignore him, and he still kept showing me the freaking pictures of Granny. So I finally looked him in the eye and I said, if you show me that picture one more time, I'm gonna hit you. Obviously, I was bluffing. This is what I looked like in elementary school. I was not getting into no fights. But like, I was at least trying to say like, hey, you know, I mean business. Like, you better stop. And obviously that didn't work. I remember him saying something like, how are you gonna be scared of Granny but try to fight me? Or something that really pissed me off. All I remember is getting up, flipping his desk, and I slapped him, and then I just blacked out because we just started. Mind you, I'm not a violent person, but I already did not like this kid. It was a buildup of rage since kindergarten. I had this really cute shirt that I was so happy to wear on the first day of school, and this boy, Jacob, was flicking ice cream and it landed on my shirt. My white cute shirt that I had picked for my first ever day of school. Another time in 2nd grade, he like projectile vomited on someone, and I was like, I cannot stand this kid. I don't want anything to do with him. After we get pulled apart from each other, we get sent to Miss Johnson. Now Miss Johnson was a teacher that nobody wanted to mess with. I was shaking in my boots, but I didn't get in trouble. Basically, he got in trouble for bullying and hitting a girl, and then he had to switch out the class while I got off scot-free. That's the story of my first fight that I fought and won.
Y'all ever get annoyed at like a little person, and like a little person as in someone who is under the age of 10, and then you're just like, you get pissed off, you're like, why are you, like, I'm literally having beef with a 6-year-old right now. Why? Like, why? Because why did my sister had a friend over, right? Well, this friend ends up leaving before their DoorDash McDonald's comes. And so I was like, oh, well, like, I didn't get anything to eat, so like, I'll just eat her McDonald's, right? Because I told that to my sister. Y'all, why did my sister look at me? She was like, no, actually, I'm gonna eat it. Okay, first of all, you literally can only eat 3 chicken nuggets and before you get full. Like, please trust, you're not gonna be able to eat 10. Trust. Like, what are you talking about? So she literally goes to her mom, aka my stepmom, and she goes to her and she's like, Mommy, can I eat her food? And obviously my stepmom didn't know that I wanted the food, so it's not her fault, but she was like, oh yeah, of course you can. So my sister comes up to me trying to be a little brat. Okay, I know what you're doing. She looks at me, she's like, see, told you, I'm gonna eat the food. Okay, girl, chill. Not so much on me. So then she starts literally being so rude. I told her, I said, girl, get out of my face. Like, actually, you're making me so upset. Get out of my face. So y'all, why she starts abusing me, she literally starts kicking me. You think I'm gonna let that slide? Y'all know that little spray things that come on sinks? Best believe, turn that sink on, bah, bah, bah. Sprayed her with that water. She wants to start crying. Why are you crying, right? So she starts making, she's like, So she grabs a Stanley and starts throwing her Stanley at me. I'm like, okay, chill. Okay, you're going a little far, girl. Chill. Then she starts kicking me again, so I push her off me. She's 6 years old. Why would I shove her? I literally like move. She throws herself into the wall and then starts crying because she hurt herself. Like, duh. You're throwing yourself into the wall. Yeah, you're gonna get hurt. Duh. Okay? So then she starts crying. And the funniest part about this is not at one point does she go and try to tell my parents, because she knows that I'm not in the wrong. She's in the wrong, right? Because if I was in the wrong, she would have went and told my parents, and like she would have, tried to get me in trouble. but she knew that she was in the wrong. So she didn't tell my parents until her mom walks in and she's like, oh, like, did you just say that you hated her? Like, blah, blah, blah. Because my sister was yelling at me. I tone it out because I'm like, I don't really care. Like, you're literally 6. Calm down. My sister was like, yeah, well, she sprayed me with the sink, forgetting the fact that you threw a Stanley at me and kicked me 3 times. And I look at her, I was like, oh, girl. I was like, girl, why did my sister? She was like, oh, Corinne, don't spray her. I'm about to spray both of them. Girl, I was like, are you serious? And I literally looked at my sister. I was like, lying is a sin. Okay, because now you got me mad. I literally walked away. I was like, girl, only God knows. Only God knows that that girl literally threw a Stanley at me and tried to fucking kick me and threw herself into a wall. Like, oh my gosh. Please don't play with me right now.
Hey y'all, I'm about to do a story time on what I experienced today. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. So guys, today I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna get out here and walk. I'm gonna go walk the trail. I'm gonna start getting active. So that's just what I did. I found the park by my house and I went out there and I walked on the trail. As I'm walking on the trail, I go around the first time and I'm like, you know what, I'm good. Like, I can do this 4 more times. Let's get it, Jania. That's what I'm saying to myself in my head, right? So as I'm going around the second time, I see this man and he's standing under the shed. So I see him, you know, whatever, cool. So as I'm walking up, he's like waving. So I tend to not like try to be too friendly towards people, you know, like, so I, not towards people, but like in situations like that, you know what I mean? But let me finish the story so you can see where I'm going with it. So he waved and I kind of turned the other way, you know, not being rude, but I'm like, I'm at the park by myself. I don't know. It was like kind of weird. Like it, you know, if somebody's doing like a friendly, hey, how you doing type of wave. Like it was not that type of wave, you know. It was more like a, not even a smile. It was like, so I turned the other way and I felt him still looking at me. So I kind of glanced that way and he was still waving. So I just did kind of like a, and kept walking. So I turn around to see like if he's like looking at me or whatever the case may be. And y'all, when I tell y'all this man turned his whole body and was watching me walk off, I said, oh, here we go. So like he's under the shed like pacing, right? So I see him and he's pacing. So I'm like, you know what, let me just, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I don't know. I'm not saying he was gonna do anything or whatever, but me being out there by myself just kind of had me scared, you know. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go get in my car and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go run the errands I need to do, whatever, go home, whatever. So I feel for my key and my key is gone. I'm like, am I tripping? So I start feeling in my jumpsuit. I'm like, hold on, my key is not on me. So I look at my car to see if my car backing out. Is it leaving? My car's still there. So I'm like, okay. So I start opening up my jumpsuit. I'm like, am I tripping? Like, where's my key? Where's my key? I'm like, oh God, I really don't want to walk past this man again. Jesus, please, where is my key? Y'all, when I tell y'all, I walked a few more steps and my key was laying there on the ground. Just when I was about to start panicking, start losing my mind, God said, girl, I'm with you. I got you. You're protected. So I pick up my key and I'm like, oh, thank you. So I walk to my car or whatever. And I was just thinking like, the times that I doubt, am I by myself? The times that I forget that God is always there. He always shows me, I'm watching you. I'm protecting you. I got your back. No matter what. Don't be scared. Don't be worried. I got you. And so I said that to say that was my experience. But anybody that feel like God has left you, feel like you're out here by yourself, feel like you can't go on, walk a few more steps. Keep going. And God go remind you, hey, I got your back. Hey, I'm right here. I'm holding your hand